films are made, you write a script, you go about casting actors, whether professional or non-professional, you go about casting locations, and then you go and shoot a film. So this is a complete reversal of that process. So Kishan, I know, he works in the cafe. I know his family. I've been to the village many times. Monisha lives in Bir. I know her. So I decided to make a film around them. So everything was a given, you know, so there was no casting in the film. So Kishan is Kishan, he's still working in the cafe. So I just like decided that yes, these will be the people, and they will play themselves, and I will guide them a little bit, but not too much. I will accept all their flaws, the way they are, their whatever strengths they have. The approach also involves shooting a lot. So we shot a lot actually. So that was very interesting. You know, we had an idea of a beginning, we had the idea of an end, we had the idea of what will happen in between. So the film is what happens in between. We had to throw away the beginning, we had to throw away the end. So this shot was not supposed to be the ending shot, but when I would see the film myself on this, you know, I would say for me the film would end here, and then I had my editor. We like really debated, and he said no. I said no. For me the film ends here. We don't need to go any further. So these kind of tough decisions you have to throw out things which you have taken great effort and pain to shoot. And so that's part of this approach. So the film is not about a beginning, middle, and end. It's not a plot-driven film. It does. If you tell me what's the story of the film, I won't be able to tell you what's the story of the film. The film is about an experience. Is about a current, what do you say, the life, present life in this part of the country of Himachal.
Gurvinder, you moved to Bir about 4 years ago, and I think you spent about 3 years approximately there, and you ran a cafe. I think that's the cafe you ran that's in the film.
Yeah.
So how much do you think this experience of moving to the mountains allowed you to approach a film in this kind of freer way?
I wouldn't be able to make. I mean, this kind of a film I wouldn't be. If I thought I want to make a film in the mountains, it wouldn't be this film. The fact that I was living there and I was running this little cafe, which was more like just out of, an adventure. I enjoy cooking, so I thought, why not have this adventure also in life, little bit, and was supported by some friends in doing it. And the cafe is still running, though I'm no longer a part of it. It won't be this film, so it will be some other film. If I wanted to make a film in the mountains, it would be some other film. If I came as an outsider and made such a film. It's not a documentary where I'm just going and shooting what's happening. Except few places like Holi and, the festival and everything. So it is staged, but the staging is coming from things they're already familiar with. So it's a strange kind of mix. That they're already familiar with those things. I would like to stick to the fact that they're playing themselves. Some things because it is happening for the camera. What I couldn't do in this film, and which I really love doing, is a kind of a staging camera movement, what we call as mise-en-scène in cinema. This is the film which didn't need mise-en-scène. Also, it was not practically possible to do any kind of mise-en-scène. Because mise-en-scène, by its nature, needs that you can retake things the same way. So here, asking them to do the same thing, even twice, was not working. So so I knew I had to get it in the first take, at the most the second take, third take they will say like, why, why, what's the wrong? So I couldn't tell them that they were doing anything wrong. But to an actor, you can push an actor to do 10 takes, 15 takes, 20 takes. So that's a completely different approach, and there you can have elaborate staging, elaborate movement, elaborate camera movements, actor movements, but here you can do that. I thought the seasons were very important, and I didn't want the film to be set in one season, so that meant shooting over different seasons. So we shot for a year in different schedules, so summer, rains, autumn, winter, spring, we shot in all the seasons. So we were a small crew, that's why it was possible. And so that's another nature of this kind of filmmaking, that it has to be a small crew.
I already knew Gurvinder. I used to go to the cafe often. And so I felt like I was with a friend, and he would explain things and then make it very comfortable. So he'd explain what it was, but it was just that segment. I'm only seeing the full film now. I didn't know the story, the whole story.
But I did narrate you the
You
script.
did give me a general. You did. But it was just made very easy and comfortable. And I am not a person with any experience of films. So it was all very, a huge learning, but an extraordinarily enjoyable learning.
So, you know, for me, it was interesting that Manisha's energy is very different from the energy of the people, of the locals who are there in the film. And it's our own house we are shooting in, so that's another thing. So everybody is just in their own spaces, and already I think there was a level of comfort.
So it wasn't some new relationship. They were already there, things were happening, and then there was a crew, but we learned not to notice them.
In fact, there was a very funny, somebody told me an anecdote that, so there were these two boys, Suraj and Aman, so like, you know, they were like, when they were casted, they like were asking Kishan ki kaise rehearsal karna hai. So Kishan told them, जैसे बोलते हो वैसे बोल दो भैया को सब ठीक लगता है. So that's the kind of reputation I got, that कि भैया को सब ठीक लगता है जैसे मर्जी बोल दो.